Hello and welcome to Irondinos. I'm Sean, I'm here with Adam.
Yo!
And Jason's dead. Or at work, or something, we don't know. But he's not here. So this is good for you and it's good for us, because it means I have less of a podcast to edit and you have less of a podcast to listen to. I don't know why that'd be a good thing, but, maybe it is. So, couple of changes as of this month. I'd become quite aware that we were covering certain games of gold 3 times, which I feel is a bit excessive. Also, the Dinocast had been creeping further and further into the months, and the plan was always to get this on the Friday as close to the end of the month as possible. So, going forward, we are going to, if the games of gold will be announced, we're just going to name them and move on. Go back with last month's games with gold, and or if they've not been announced, we're just going to skip over it. So this month they've already been announced, so we're just going to tell you what they are, and you'll find out our thoughts and opinions when we've got hands on it and we make the videos that come out on a Monday. So first you've got Praetorians HD Remaster. This is a real-time strategy set in ancient Rome. And then you've got Dead End Job, which is like a top-down shooter thing set around ghosts. So that's what you've got coming up. But what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about last month's Games with Gold, or I guess last month's Games with Gold, and the one that's through halfway through this month. I'm babbling. Right, Windbound. Adam, go.
Windbound! Yes, Windbound. I absolutely loved Windbound. It's stayed on my Xbox. I've gone back to it a couple of times, not as much as I'd like to, but that's because of a completely different game, which I'll bring up later. But I do plan to go back to this. I do plan to go back to this game, because it really did hit all the right notes for me. It's survival, which I absolutely love. It's, building and making your weapons and your rafts and working your way through these areas of open water. And with, enemies such as, wolves and giant, warthogs and all sorts coming your way, and there's lots of challenges. You can make it as hard or as easy as you want, and all in all, very, very good game. Thumbs up. Highly recommend. What about you, dude?
Honestly, I didn't have a lot of time for it, but this is the one I plan to go back to. I did enjoy what I played of it. Thought it looked great, and I really liked the feel and stuff. So it's just a matter of finding somewhere to slot it in eventually, because I was playing things that we will also cover in a later section. Foreshadowing. So largely my thoughts are on the video, because I think I played I got another hour or 2 in over the entire month since that video was released, so I don't have much more to say.
Cool.
But what about Bomber Crew Deluxe Edition?
So I'm.
The video was not quite as complimentary as the Windbound one.
No, it wasn't. There's a couple of reasons. So, right, when I first played this, the first hour of it, to be honest, if I wasn't making a video, and I'm being completely honest here, I would have turned off. And I would have deleted it. Because I was making a video, it forced me to play further into it. And I found an element within it that I actually quite enjoy. There's this chaos type moments within the game where there's loads going on the screen, and you're frantically trying to click and get your crew to do the right things and everything like that. And I love that in the game. That's one of the reasons why I love Overcooked so much. It's because of all the chaos. It's actually great. Makes for good gameplay, really funny. Love that kind of thing. However, a lot of the other game to get to those points is so slow and boring. It really is, and the graphics aren't exactly brilliant. I mean, I'm sure it's come out how they intended it to come out, but the way they've done it, I think, could have been a lot better. Funny enough, you actually made a point in the video. The trailer for this made it look so much more vibrant than it actually was when you actually play it. So So overall, the game is clinging on by its fingernails to my Xbox, and the reason being is because I want to play to a couple more levels and just see if things ramp up. And it's just the beginning of the game that is quite slow. Because if there's more of that chaos type thing within the later levels, I think I'll really enjoy it. And I did enjoy the sort of decorating of your aircraft and all that sort of fun, crazy stuff you get. It's clinging on by its fingernails, but I'm a bit 50-50 on it at the minute. What about you, dude?
I think I said everything I had to say in the video. I know there's only so much you can expect from a small team. And in this case, they were working on their first release independently in this studio. But, the thing is, this feels like a mobile game when I've had more time to think about it. And I think it looks like a beefed up version of that. So I think with those touchscreen controls, this is probably a hell of a lot more fun. And I think the doing it with a controller, maybe it's even more fun with a mouse. I think the problem is the controller and the speed at which you can move around with it. But that's really all I've got to add. It was never going to be the kind of game I was going to love, and what I got didn't impress me enough to want to spend any more time with. Not exactly a great month's worth of Games of Gold for me, but like I said, I do plan to go back to the Wind one. Was it Windbreaker, something like that?
Yes.
Windbound.
Windbound.
Yeah,
that's the one. Didn't forget the title at all.
But what else have you been playing, my good friend?
So the game that's taken up all my time is a game called Raft, and it's on PC. I don't know if it's on Xbox. I haven't looked, but where I play it, it's on PC, and it's a survival game that I've been keeping an eye on for quite some time now. So the actual game's been out for a while. But it was always in alpha and beta and all that sort of stuff and testing. So I stayed away from it purely for those reasons, because I didn't want to play an unfinished game. So I stayed away from it. I kept seeing trailers and little bits of gameplay, and I was like, okay, it's getting me more excited for it, more interested. And then they finally released the full version. It was this year, and I thought, right, I'm definitely going to play this. So John, who you know, and he's from the channel, and we got together and we downloaded it. By the way, it's not that much. I think it was $14.99 or something like that. So it's a pretty good deal. And yeah, absolutely love it. There are a few kinks in it, which I know the team is sort of working hard to sort of throw those patches over it and stuff like that. But it's nothing major. You can easily get over it. And so the idea of the game is you spawn on 4 squares of raft, if you like. and these squares are just about enough room to fit your person. So technically, there's enough room for 4 people, and it's multiplayer, so you can have like, I'm not sure how many people you can have up to, but you can definitely up to have 4, that's for sure. And the idea is there's scrap floating in the sea, and you've got to pick up the scrap, and then you've got to make yourself a hook, and then you got to figure out how to make a water purifier, and then just like a simple grill, and like start catching fish, and there's like barrels floating about in the sea. And the idea is basic. Do you know the film Waterworld? It's effectively Waterworld. So the whole entire
just a little side tangent for a second. Last month, someone released, like, do you remember that old Simpsons bit where they did a Waterworld arcade? Milhouse is in the arcade, and he puts a coin in, and Kevin Costner's character moves forward 2 steps, and then it says "Game over" insert a coin. Someone has actually made that into a game and released it, and it's freaking hilarious. But anyway, sorry, I digress.
Yeah. So yeah, it's effectively Waterworld, and yeah, so there are islands that are still about that you can, if you can work out how to make a sail and an anchor, you can, and a paddle, you can sort of anchor your way out an island and grab all the resources. But while you're doing all this, of course, there is a shark circling your boat, or raft, should I say, and every now and then he'll have a chomp on your raft and destroy a bit of it. So if you're not quick, you're not thinking, he'll soon eat all your raft and you die. There are difficulty levels. This will ramp up how quick your food like how much your hunger goes up, and how much the need for water goes up. If you do it on like hard, you pretty much need to eat every second, and the amount of calories you must take is incredible. But anyway, that's part of the game. It's fun, it's great, and there's like crazy stuff. So like when you land on the bigger islands, there's like boars, and there's these big like birds that drop rocks on your head, and yeah, you can just, there's like a research table that you can make, and you can slowly make like and research stuff and make it, and you can find like metals, and then eventually build furnaces, and it opens up into like a massive crafting sort of sandbox game, which, as you know, is completely me. I love that sort of thing.
Just to jump in a second.
Yeah.
With the multiplayer, how does the world work then? Is it you host so everyone comes into your world, and when they leave, they each, they everything they've accumulated, everything they've built stays in your world, provided they've not got it on them? Or
yes, yeah. So
yeah.
So you host, and they come in, and if they haven't taken the stuff out of their inventory and put it in chests and stuff, if they leave, you don't have access to the stuff they've picked up. So, which is technically how it should be, really. But the good thing is, if you say, I don't know, one day you're just playing with your friends, and then the next day a couple of your friends couldn't join, so there was only 2 of you, you can still carry on playing, because the next time they want to join in, they will spawn on the raft. They don't save their position and just drop into some water somewhere. Which would, to be honest, be more funny, but anyway. So yeah, they spawn on the raft, so that is a good thing. And yeah, it's really, really well done. Now, a couple of the points that I mentioned just before, of the little bugs and stuff, when they've got this kind of clever way of doing this, so when you chuck something out of your inventory, it doesn't stay in the shape that it is. And the size
What
of
does
it
that
is
mean?
so what it does, it packages it into like an Amazon parcel type thing.
Okay.
And so that when you pick it up, it will then appear in your inventory as it should do. And because the reason for this is because you've got stuff like furnaces and really big, massive items that, technically speaking, there's no way you could hold in your pockets. so they had to do it in a way that sort of made sense. So yeah, it's in these packages now. If you throw these packages onto your raft into certain positions, sometimes they can disappear through your raft and end up floating away in the sea. So that was one little bug. That hasn't happened to me in the last couple of hours I've been playing. And I know like a little update was there, and so maybe they've done something about that. So yeah, that's one little thing. But to be honest, you can easily just put it into chests and stuff, so you can easily go over that. The other thing is our good old favourite water mechanics. Now, I've played a lot of games, and I could probably count on my hands the amount of games that have got water mechanics correct.
Yeah.
Now, this game, I think, they've done a decent job in the water mechanics to the point where it's a water world, so that is obviously one of the things they concentrated on, and it's good. It is good, and you can easily sort of skip over the little forts in it. So when it's really high winds and the waves are really picking up, when you chuck your hook out to sea to grab something, sometimes if the wave is really high, just as your hook lands, the rope stays in a dead straight line and doesn't like flop as it should do, and so the item you're going for will sail right under your hook, which wouldn't happen. But to be honest, it's very rare that sort of stuff happens, and you can just throw your hook again and grab it again. So it's tiny things. It's tiny things at this point. But yeah, it's absolutely great. And so I've got loads to say about this. But the good thing is about this whole game is it's got a story mode for those of you that love adventure. And there's a certain point within the sandbox game that you've built up your raft and you've researched, say, metal. All of a sudden, you'll get the ability to make antennas and receivers. I think you find some blueprints in some crates that are floating by. And once you make those, the story mode begins. But you don't have to take it. And I love that fact. So it'll come up with a radar, and you'll get like these green dots all over the radar. Those are big, massive islands. The small islands don't really show up. It's just the big islands that show up. Now, if you want to do the story mode, it's blue, bright blue, same sort of size dot. So if you don't want to do the story mode, just don't go to that island, basically. But even if you say wanted to do a part of the story mode just to get more upgrades, and because obviously each part of the story mode gives you access to higher upgrades for your ship and stuff. So if you wanted to just progress the story a little bit to get better things, you can do one island, two islands, and then stop right there and then play a load of the sandbox game floating between islands and stuff. It's great. It's absolutely great. You can build your raft as big as you want it, or as small as you want it, as high as you want it. I've not known anyone to reach the build limit yet. I certainly haven't. So I'm sure there is a build limit, but yeah, I've not known anybody to reach it yet. So yeah, it's just a really, really good game, and I highly, highly recommend it. So yeah.
It's always nice when you've been looking forward to something for a long, long time, and it just hits, if not exceeds, your expectations.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So for example, the initial release date, so the alpha or whatever it was, that was back in 2018. That's how long this game has been out, and how long I've been keeping an eye on this game. And they've just slowly added, and built up sort of excitement for the full release, I guess. And at the same time, working out loads of little kinks and stuff. So yeah, there's a plus side to it. But yeah, it is a good game, absolutely. But yeah, that is basically taken up all my time. I've managed to sort of escape and get my daily dose of Assassin's Creed, as you know I love. But yeah, other than that, yeah, Raft has basically taken up my time. But what about you? What have you been playing?
Well, I'm going to go somewhat in chronological order for the month.
Yeah.
So we'll start with, I finished Saints Row.
Nice.
My opinion, by and large, has not changed throughout, and this will be a factor later on, as you may be able to call me somewhat hypocritical, but it's not. I found that game charming, and despite its many faults, I was never not having. Well, with the occasional case where the game just crashed after I've been playing it for like 5 or 6 hours. I never was not having fun with that game. And that is sometimes all I want. And that's all I've ever wanted from the Saints Row games. Yeah. I just want to turn it on, have a gun in my hand or something, and go do something ludicrous. And I was constantly doing that in that game. So I was very satisfied at the end. It didn't break my heart as I thought it was going to. And now I await this next big patch so I can actually complete it. Because there's... you got a completion rating of 100% that is currently impossible due to bugs. Oh. So when they release that big patch, which is apparently going to be in November, then I'm going to go polish that off and impatiently await the DLC, which hopefully is forthcoming soon, because that game is just a blast. When you beat the main campaign, it's so upsetting that you don't get it earlier. You get a fucking VTOL, right? And this isn't just like a regular one. Like, it does barrel rolls and all this crazy shit. You can blow up so much at once with it. I'm just like, I've already done everything, but I just want to use this and go on a rampage. But yeah, delightful game. But between that, I needed something to play between that and Gotham Knights, which was released on the 21st. So I went back to a Games of Gold for earlier this year, I believe. Maybe last year. I think it was this year. From Yoku's Island Express.
Ooh.
Which is the platform Metroidvania pinball game where you're on that cutesy little island, you roll the ball, and then you go collect things and stuff. And man, that game is awesome. I really plan to scale back the amount of time I was playing between Saints Row and Gotham Knights, because I've been playing a lot of Saints Row to get it finished in time for Gotham Knights. So I thought, oh well, I'll play another 3 or 4 hours of Yoku, in the meantime while I'm waiting or whatever. And I 100%ed it. I just
nice.
I think I said to you in our chat, I went back and watched our video, and I was pleased to see that we were very complimentary at the time. But yeah, it's even better than. It was even better. I was enjoying it more even than when we did that. It's an absolutely wonderful game. I love the style of it. There's so much to do. There's so much to find. You eventually come into you get like the origins of the island and their gods and all this sort of stuff. The end boss is incredibly silly and obvious. But even after that, you can go find that character again, who's basically like, sorry, I got a bit carried away. Are we cool? You're like, yeah, come on, we're cool. It's just absolutely delightful. It's I don't use this word very often, but it is whimsical, and that is just delightful when it hits right. It's why I like Studio Ghibli things. They are whimsical and lovely, and so was this game. Right down to when you get further into it. You find these things that can colour your ball, but if you I think there are 5 different ones, but if you can combine 2 at a time to get like loads of different things. So there's one that puts a bug pattern on, and the other 4 makes it into these different bugs. So the first one I think is like a ladybird, like a green ladybird. But you can turn it into a bean. You can turn it into like a moth thing. It's really, really cute. There's so much to it, and trying to figure out, like, certainly as you get later into it, there are puzzle areas outside of the pinball table that still require pinball style play to get, and some of those were super fun as well. So. Really, really, really glad I went back to give that more time and absolutely complete it.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic, fantastic time. Did you ever go back to that one?
Yeah, I did go back to it a couple of times. It's survived the deletion. It's still on my Xbox. so yeah, I do plan to go back to it. Basically, my rule is if I enjoy it enough and I want to go back to it, it stays on the Xbox, and that is my rule of thumb. So it stayed on the Xbox, so yeah, 100% I do want to go back to it.
That's a good rule of thumb to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of that was building up to the release of Gotham Knights, the new quote-unquote Batman game. It's a game in which Batman dies, and you take control of his 4 proteges: Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Red Hood. And you have to complete Bruce's final case. And after, I don't know, a fair amount of build-up and a fair bit of excitement, it's not very good. I'm very sad to say.
No.
It's. I'll cut to
But you're still playing it, of course.
I've got a lot. Honestly, I haven't been.
Oh.
We'll get to it, but it's boring. It's boring, and that is just not acceptable. When you've got a game, I should probably do this in order because I wrote some notes for a friend of mine that I'm going to use as a thing to why I'm dissatisfied with this, and we're going to start with the points. And like, this is the point where I might sound a little hypocritical, and I don't think this is, because I'm not forgiving it in this stuff that I have forgiven in Saints Row. But the thing is, Saints Row was bought by THQ Nordic. That has got a very finite budget. And I don't even, I wouldn't call that a AAA game. I would call that maybe an A game or a B plus. You know, this is the biggest thing they're going to release, but their budget is not, you know, what a Square Enix or an EA is going to release. They just do not have that money.
Yeah.
This is WB Games, so there is no fucking excuse. They own the IPs. Warner Brothers has all the goddamn money in the world to make a good game. And this is a game that is like Spider-Man, that is like Arkham Knight, Arkham City, and all this. And it is not as good as any of them, and that's completely unacceptable in the way that it is thrown out things that completely work in those games. But it's just not good. And I don't know, and I don't care if it's lack of talent, because they had the money to buy talent. I don't know if they didn't have enough time. Well, I don't care. Literally, they have all the money to make this game for as long as they want. putting like it is an insane thing within the game industry. Where they're like, well, it's got to be out for this date. No, it doesn't. It does not have to be out for any date. It can be. I understand you can't pour an infinite amount of money into it to the point you then need a thing. But what you need to do is make sure that the game is not only finished, but is in a state that is expected of a AAA game. And that is what this budget has. That is the release it should have had. That is the release it had. It's the hype it had. And this fell utterly short of my expectations of a AAA game. And when I'm comparing it to a AAA game, I'm not comparing it to Saints Row. I'm comparing it to, say, Guardians of the Galaxy from last year. The Spider-Man game from 2018. I don't play a lot of AAA games. Mostly they bore the piss out of me. I would compare it to an Assassin's Creed. You know, that's the level we're talking about. And I don't think it's good enough. So let's have a look at my notes here. We'll start with the graphics. The cutscenes and the first level, you start in like this small corridor kind of thing. Looks like an Xbox One game. Upscaled.
Oh. Yeah.
It absolutely... I compare the visuals of this to Guardians of the Galaxy and I'm embarrassed for this game. It looks shit by comparison.
Oh, no.
It really does. Now, I will be fair to it. When you get into the open city, it does look better, but that's because they've put lots of black on everything and it's constantly raining. And the rain effects are lovely, but they are very clearly covering up mediocre. They're using draw distance, which is wonderful. The Xbox has the power to do that. And just darkening over everything to cover... their weak-ass graphics. I will admit that they have one of the main things that you needed right in this game, which is Nightwing's arse is cracking. I mean, a large part of his fan base is all about Dick Grayson's arse, and that is fine, so we're good on that. But, yeah, like, there's so many little problems. Like, Robin is a great example. He's got like this... He doesn't wear a cape because they wanted all the characters to look somewhat different. So he's got like this two-part tunic. It's supposed to look kind of a bit samurai because it's taken from Damian Wayne's. It's a different Robin, but it's taken from Damian Wayne's kind of one of his costumes. But that is constantly glitching through his arm. Or glitching through his side. Like, all of the time. And that is one of the main 4 character models you're going to be spending all of your game with. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, they had to know that was happening all the time. And therefore, you remove that tunic and you just give Robin a cape, same as Batgirl's. Or you work more on it. Like, it is... I don't think it's acceptable to release in that state. Like, loads of little things. Like, you get too close to a wall and you'll just glitch into the wall. Like, they each have a weapon. So, say Nightwing's standing there holding his Eskrima sticks, right? It's just these little billy club things. If you're standing near a wall, that will just go into the wall. It's part of your character model. Like, that's not good enough. Was it? There's a detective mode, much like in the Arkham games, and it's fucking glitched to hell. Like, so basically, you turn this on, and it works like an X-ray, so it'll highlight enemies in red and dangers in red and other stuff like that, and it just kind of like the visuals for it just kind of stop. And then start again after a second or so, and stuff like that. Like, really, really bad because you're going to spend. You're required to use this a lot if you're trying to do the extra bonuses for an area in. So while there is a big open world, a lot of it will then have a major crime. You'll be funneled into a smaller area that's accessed from the main level, and then you'll have to like tag these guys so you can follow them around and sneak up and take them out and stuff like that. So you need to be using this vision, so it's really glaringly obvious that it just doesn't work very well.
Oh no.
Okay, here we go. So here's the big one. Here's the really big one. It's boring to play. Like, really freaking undercooked, boring. It's boring to look at while you're playing it, and it's boring to press the buttons in the way that you're doing it. The enemies have too much health and too few things that they do to be interesting. The waves are too big. Like, on a fundamental level, the core mechanic of this game is dull as hell. And again, like, I understand this isn't the team that made Spider-Man, but this isn't the team that made the Arkham games. But those games exist, and this is literally aiming to be in that genre. So you don't get to make a worse version of those games. Especially fucking Gotham, it being like Arkham Knight elevated that kind of third-person action adventure in its combat and stuff. You don't get to be worse than that. But it's really freaking dull. Now, a few hours in, I did find something that made it a bit more interesting, which is, so you've basically got your 4-hit combo, or you can hold the button down for a melee. You can use ranged weapons which do no damage but stun, you know, the stuff you've seen in the Arkham games. There is a nice thing, whereas as you're going through your 4-5-hit combo, there's like a little flash just as you're about to hit. If you press the button again, it will do a couple of extra strikes. But that doesn't move into a new combo where the stakes get higher and higher as you keep, as you know, what you'd expect to do is press the button 5 times, it does the combo. Press it exactly when it's going to do that first hit, and it goes into a second combo tree, which should get faster and faster and harder to keep up, but look more impressive as it does so. That's not what it does. It just interrupts. It just does that first move, then does the quick strike, then just moves into the standard second move in that set. You can do the quick strike again, and so on and so forth. It's so undynamic. Like, I play FPSs, and that's holding down the right trigger to go boom boom. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to do much to engage someone with a combat system. And again, the entire point of this combat system is they're lifting it from games that did it incredibly well. I don't understand why this is so incredibly boring. There's a thing I said about going into how boring it is to fight these enemies. Like, every enemy has maybe 3 attacks.
Oh,
like,
okay.
That's not very interesting.
No.
They could do a punch, or they could do a 2-punch combo. And then the bigger guys can also punch the floor for an area effect, which is really frustrating because you can't dodge the area effect and then go in and hit them. The area effect lasts about a second, so you can hit them, dodge the area effect, and then you have to stand there for like a second until it disappears, and then you go back in and hit them. That's so incredibly undynamic. You're just stopping the fight. It's really, really boring. I pointed out to my buddy Cormac really, really early on. One of the you fight heavies who are for no reason human beings who are the size of Andre the Giant compared to most of the characters being my size. Like, there's no explanation. They're not on Venom or anything. They're just huge for no reason. So I was fighting the first one of those, and he has about 4 attacks. But what you have to do, he's got a big shield, so you need to hold down the punch button to hit them. And that does like a stun, so it knocks their shield away, so otherwise they're blocking all the attacks. And I was messaging my mate, and I recorded it. Every time I hit this guy, if I use the big attack or each attack in the combo, his reaction is exactly the same. The animation is exactly the same. You've got to hit this guy like 20 times. every single time you hit him,
jeez.
doesn't matter what angle, what move, he just does a little, like, one arm goes in a bit of a circle and he leans back and then he leans back in. Like, you've got one animation for this enemy type? Really? That's the best you can do? Like,
That's going back in time.
it really is. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then you notice it with other enemies. And it's just like, and most other enemies admittedly do have more hit animations, but it's nowhere near enough. And this stuff is just immediately, I'm playing a video game. It's completely taken me out of the moment because I'm very, very aware I'm playing a video game.
Yeah.
Then you've got, the city traversal. So, in Arkham City onwards, you've got the grapnel, right? So, you fire at an area. Normally, you'll be able to hold A to boost off that, see the next thing, fire at that, and on you go, right?
Yeah.
That was exactly the same still in Arkham Knight, even though you had the Batmobile. Spider-Man took that idea, and of course Spider-Man's got the webbing, so they made it better. You can constantly be swinging off anything you want, however you want. You can judge momentum and distance and all stuff like that.
Yeah.
This completely breaks that system and makes getting around a fucking chore. You can... Right, so... And I need to add that in Spider-Man and all of those Batman games, the function is the same. You can use your right stick to look around to where you want to aim, and then you aim it. But otherwise, it will... So you look around, you see where you want to launch for your first point, and after that, it will always choose somewhere that it was in your field of vision directly in front of you because you are propelling in that motion, and then you can move your character off to the side a little bit to start turning in different directions and this, that, and the other. All wonderful.
Okay, yeah.
This doesn't do this. The system in this is to zip to one point and stop, and then zip to one point and then stop. And it won't go for the one that's in your eye line the direction you want, because you can't swing off literally everything as you can in those other games. It wants to limit you, so it will go to the nearest one. That could be behind you in the opposite direction to which you're heading. But because it's nearer, that's what it's going to zip to. Now, there is a thing where you can press A to do a little jump once you've reached a surface, but that won't propel you entirely to the other side of the next roof, off it, and swinging to the next, and then into the next jump. It just puts you on the roof. It's boring. It's boring and it's frustrating. And part of the reason for that is they want you to use the bike, right? So we're going to start with this. I hate the laziness that your bike, when you call it, appears out of nowhere. And in the game, they're like, "Oh, well, we've put active camouflage on it, so it's riding around by you, but it just appears when you need it." No, that is lazy as fuck. They haven't programmed any collision detection into the bike, because they've not programmed you to be able to be thrown off it or injured by it. So you can be driving at absolutely full speed, and we'll get to that in a second. You can be driving at absolutely full speed into a solid, and you'll just stop. Or you won't even bounce off it, because there's no physics programmed into it. It's appalling. And then you get into the actual visual of the bike driving itself, and my god, I don't understand how this can be released like it. Right, so you get on your bike and you start going to main speed, right?
Yeah.
And that looks fluid, and then you get to top speed, and I swear to god, it's like wading through quicksand. It looks like they put the little dashing, wind rushing effects at the side of the screen, but I swear it looks slower than it did in the build up to top speed. And
Oh god.
It's so unbelievably slow. Like, it needs to be at least 3 times faster to appear remotely dynamic. And I'm not, like, I'm not looking for nitpicks here. This is, like, the first time I saw it, I laughed out loud. It looked that pathetic. And then I crashed into something, and then I was annoyed because they hadn't bothered to program that. Or they hadn't they decided that the best way around it was to just stop the bike. It's absolutely shocking that this was released like this.
I mean, this comes from like a huge fan of Batman, so.
Oh, absolutely. This had to be fucking passable for me to love it, and it isn't. Oh yeah. Right. Okay. Back with combat. There are, as with the Arkham games and the Spider-Man games, there are finishing moves, and a nice idea is they put them in the form of grabs. So if you knock an enemy down enough health, you can grab them and you can then interrogate them or throw them or something like that. But all of these look terrible. The camera zooms in, and like, I watch quite a lot of wrestling as well, you know. I know what a good hold looks like because I watch a lot of it. But so I can see what they're going for, but the character models have absolutely no because I think it's because they're rendering it in game rather than cutting away from it at all. They have to maneuver the models, and I think they were so worried about them kind of merging into each other, which they do regardless, that they don't look like they're touching. So Nightwing's kind of bending over half backwards with a guy trapped with his a screamer stick against his neck to choke him out. And they barely look like they're touching. They look like they're laying on each other. Like, there's absolutely no, it doesn't look like there's any impact to what's going on. It doesn't look like they're touching. Which is, again, really, really bad because you do that a lot. And, like, you're encouraged to do that because you're supposed to get tips to find more crimes, which is something they've lifted directly from Spider-Man, which is a really good thing to lift. The problem with it is they are always so fucking far away on the other side of the city. Like, I like that there's a big city. That's a good idea. Unfortunately, they've made the... I don't know if it's... I'm going to assume it's a programming issue that they couldn't load the entire city in one go. So they've cut it off with rivers. So you have to use the bike to traverse them. And it just takes so long. It takes 3 or 4 minutes to get between these islands. It's like, I'm not playing the game. I'm not playing the game for 3 or 4 minutes. You're making me just ride this boring fucking bike or try to, like, I refuse to use the bike as much as possible. I, like, try to eke out as much fun as I can get out of the using the grapnels, because that's how I see Batman and his family getting around anyway. That's mostly what they do in the comics. You rarely see a Batmobile these days because it's just easier to have them glide and stuff. It's so boring. And, like, I've played probably about 10 hours of this game. Maybe a little more. And I'm already getting some of these crimes in the same locations. Like, and I don't mean the... Like, there's constantly little crimes going on. That's quite cool. Quite liked that. But the bigger ones are the ones that you need to do to progress your it gives you bigger rewards, and it progresses the state of the city to a degree, so you're making it a better place, kind of thing. And already they're starting to pop up in the same locations of what I've already done. I'm like, oh my god, are you this are you this poorly programmed? Like, are you this out of ideas?
Wow.
Yeah, okay, so back to the combat. Sorry, my notes to my friend were just in a random thing. In random, like, as I thought of them. in actual combat, you don't lock to an enemy. So in the Arkham games, and I know you can argue, well, you probably argue this in Spider-Man as well, the enemy stood in a circle and took turns. I think it was less so in Spider-Man, but certainly that was the thing in Arkham City. The guys stood in a circle to take turns. So Batman locked onto the enemy who was attacking and would do them, but if someone come from behind, you could just lock onto them for a second, knock them, but still remain mostly locked to the guy who is in front of you.
Okay.
This game doesn't lock you to an enemy, and it doesn't lock you to the nearest one if you're doing that by turning to hit them to stop them attacking, to continue attacking the main one. It does it for blocking. It's always aware of everything around you, so if someone's coming in for attack, you can block it. There's like quite a nice pitch perfect block thing, block thing, dodge thing. But actually fighting, so often it'll be hit. Oh, someone's coming in from behind. I'll go to hit that. Why have I hit to the left and I'm now standing in the middle of nothing, with none in front of none of these guys? Oh look, someone else is coming over. So then you have to start again. And, like, the fun is hit, you know, maybe get a couple of these little extra hits, knock the guy out, or grab him and do the interrogate or the throw or something like that, and then on to the next person. Just fight. And this feels like fight. Oh, I didn't mean to go over there. Fight. Oh, I've taken a hit from something off screen that there's no possible reason I could have known was there, and the game didn't pan out or give me ample ability to know it was coming. It's just clunky, and it's not well executed at all. And like I say, you've got no excuse. You've got no excuse.
No, not with the budget they've had.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is you unlock combat abilities as you go for some reason. And some of it is the basic stuff.
You'd have thought your character already has that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here's something else. Right, so...
Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, on these... So, I said there were little crimes to do to find the bigger ones.
Yeah. Here's
another big thing, right? So, you go... If you push... If you push the button to go in detective mode, you find these purple markers, and they're small crimes in progress, right? And you go and do them, and you track everyone down, and then you get an informant, and you get the information from them, right? And that then informs you about the bigger crimes, so you then go and do them. So, I was trying to unlock as many of those as I could while learning the mechanics of the fighting and everything like that. I did 15 of them, right? And every time I got down to the last person, I grabbed them and used them as an informant. 15 times, yeah?
Okay.
There were 2. There were 2 informants. So every single time I finished one of these fights, and I think 10 of them was the female one and 5 of them was the man, it was the one character model saying the one line they had at the end of that. And it's quite a specific line. It was something about not working for Kirk Langstrom, who'd promised them super hearing. He's the guy who becomes Man-Bat, and that's what he's working on. So, yeah, I would go around and I'd defeat these gangs, and I'd get to the last one, and about 10 times out of the 15, it was a woman saying her one line of dialogue, and the other time it was a guy saying his one line of dialogue. And that is absolutely unacceptable. Like, there's no... I did it so many times, there's no possible way I didn't just get unlucky, and from the string of these things, it kept picking the same one. There's one outcome for a male character and one outcome for a female character. Are you fucking joking?
That is bad.
It's really bad. On the plus side,
there's a plus.
There is a plus side. The writing is going to be good. I've already got a sense of what it's going to be. I just thought of another big negative I haven't covered yet. We'll be nice for a little while. Let's take it in the other way. The writing's going to be good. I've enjoyed. The first cutscene was okay. I've enjoyed the interaction since. They made a big deal about Alfred rocking up, which was lovely. Everyone should love Alfred. Don't look at our current Telltale Batman thing. Everyone should be nice. So that's lovely. He's kind of the new linchpin that's holding them together as a family, as tempers fray and this, that, and the other. The characters are all pretty good. I do think they suffer a little from three of them, other than Jason, who I think goes from 0 to 11 a bit quickly. I do think that Barbara, Dick, and Tim are a bit too similar.
Okay.
But that's fine. You could make that argument in the comics anyway, so that's fine. I'm really enjoying their voices. I just found this weird side quest, which was very long and boring. But at the end of it, Mr. Freeze rocked up out of nowhere and started murdering everything. And that was pretty damn awesome. I really, really liked that. I liked that version of Freeze. He's literally on the side of, I'm pretty sure Batman's dead, so there's literally no threat you can pose. He just kind of storms off and then tries to murder the entire building on his way out, which is pretty awesome. I like that. I was liking the version of Harley, but it is a bit on the side of... It's a bit on their side of they're writing her to be cool Harley rather than just writing her in a thingy way. But that's fine. That's kind of... It's a trap a lot of people fall into Harley with. I can't necessarily blame them for that. What I can blame them for, though, is I'm playing through... So you've got to understand the tone of this game.
Yeah.
Batman has died. These guys are all in mourning and they're trying to deal with his last case. Batman was getting some information he was using on from Harley, so you have to go through Blackgate Prison, fighting a load of prisoners who are inexplicably out of their cells and hiding from corrupt guards. Here's a thing I like about the game. Here's a really big thing I like about the game. The police will automatically aggro your main characters, either because they're corrupt or they don't like vigilantes, but you do not get any experience points for fighting cops. Really like that it rewards you for not fighting the other symbols of justice that you're supposed to be on side with, regardless of the real-world implications that may have. The fact is, in the game, you don't get extra bonuses for fighting people who you can't explicitly prove are criminals, and I quite like that. But anyway,
that's good.
So you do this thing for Harley, and she cutely kind of ties the thing she's going to give you to a balloon and bats it out, and it goes out, flies out into a courtyard where there's a giant fight. A load of criminals are trying to escape, and then it plays a pop punk song. And I'm like, do you fucking understand the game you are making? That shit happens in Saints Row. Do you know why? Because Saints Row is crazy fun nonsense.
Yeah.
This is not. It's so out of place when it first starts. It kind of, it doesn't fade in a bit, but it kind of, as you get closer to it, it gets a little louder. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. They've given some of the guys in their cells radio or whatever, pass the time or whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun. And they get out into the courtyard and it starts playing. I'm like, this is just embarrassing. You don't know. You don't even understand the tone of the game you are making. That's just so bad. Yeah, that's about as far as in the main plot I've got.
It sounds like individuals were given aspects of the game and they just went away, didn't talk to each other, made their sections and then they just brought it all together.
Yeah, what you are right. Yeah, it does feel really, really segmented by that, like that. No, I absolutely agree. Like everything. No. I was going to say everything I like about this game I've seen done before better in other games, but everything in this game I've seen done before in better games. And the fact that this is taking those games and trying to be in that place. I will so far give this a 5 out of 10. And here's what I was coming to. I've been playing Catlateral Damage again after getting this game, because I sit down to play this and I go out into the city and I do the same little radial quests again and I have these same little things and I have to get on my bike and I'm like, I actually don't want to play this. It's not fun. This game is boring and this game is irritating and this game is simply not good enough. This game is simply not as good as other games in this genre that I've played by like a really noticeable amount.
Wow.
So yeah, when we do our review of the year, I might instigate a worst game of the year just so I can chuck this pile of shit on it. But no, like again, not to make all the comparisons, but Saints Row's problems gave it charm, whereas in this they are so breaking to game and my enjoyment of it. They are nothing but to the detriment of this game, and that is really fucking disappointing. But I am very glad that at the last minute I'd ordered the big well, not the biggest expensive version, but I'd ordered the version that goes out for about 80 quid. I'd found it for 60, and within a week of the game's release, I think it was Curry's, I got a deal. It come down to 45 quid. So I cancelled the more expensive version and got this version. And honestly, I still think I overpaid for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, here's another thing. This is just a basic misunderstanding of your fucking audience, right? And I can see why they've done this, because they've seen what happened in Spider-Man, but they've missed the fucking point. Right, so when you go out, as you battle, you get points to build new uniforms. So it's essentially RPG mechanics to make your weapon more powerful, make your suit, upgrade the armor and the power in your suit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And every time you do that, it changes. When you do these costumes, they're all in different arrays. It changes them into different appearances.
Yeah.
Do you know what comic book fans like? We like the costumes from the comics.
Yeah.
I don't want to be playing Nightwing. All of these extra or most of these extra costumes are hideous. They're just like weird plates everywhere and shit like that don't like the complete opposite of what the fucking comics do. And like, it's just, guys, like, I know they did this in Spider-Man, but do you know what they did in Spider-Man? They allowed you to use the advantages of those other costumes with whatever costume appearance you want. So if you want the specific Insomniac Spider-Man costume that they made for that game, that's fine. If you're me, and I want to play the entire thing in a comics-accurate Spider-Man suit, they let me play that entire fucking game in a comic-accurate Spider-Man suit, because that's what I want to play, because I'm a Spider-Man fan. I'm not a fan of, you've made these weird kind of half samurai but all plates of metal costumes. I don't fucking want to see it. I want to play as the character I like in the costume 100%. That I like them in. Like, I will allow that Tim's got this, like, I've mentioned Tim's got this like tunic thing. That's fine. That's a that is a stylistic choice that still looks a kid. You can equate that to the comic thing, and the other three are pretty damn accurate anyway. But
Yeah.
I don't need them in costumes that are all like weird metal plates all over everything with face guards and stuff. It's not the characters I know and love. It's not what I want to be looking at. And you have to do this if you want to progress. Oh yeah, here's another point I wanted to make. This game is fucking easy. I put this on the hardest mode and eventually lowered the difficulty because I was so unbelievably bored of fighting these guys with, like, they take so long to beat down and, like, there's no challenge. So I was just, like, sitting there for... Oh, that's a thing in the Mr. Freeze one. I swear to God, they send about... At one point, they sent about 10 waves of guys at you. Like, one after another. It's like 4 guys, you beat them. 4 guys, you beat them. 4 guys, you beat... And I'm just like, just end! For the love of God, will you please just end? I am bored. I'm doing your main mechanic of the game, the fighting, and I'm so fucking bored. I want to be doing something else. But I know that if I quit now, I'm going to have to start this whole fucking bit again. And I'm not fighting all these guys again. Why is the fighting in this game so boring, Adam? Please tell me. It makes me sad. It makes me not want to play. And it has made me... I got this, the weekend before last, I guess. Or would it be 2 weekends ago? Hang on. The weekend before last. So the weekend I got it, I played it all weekend. I played it all... I got it on the Friday, so I loaded it on overnight. I played it most of Saturday and most of Sunday. And... I had a lot of this Sunday free, so I was going to play it all of this Sunday. I put it in for an hour, and I just went, I don't want to play this anymore. So I started playing Catlateral Damage again, and I completed that. And then today...
I wonder why you was playing that the other day.
Yeah, and then today, like, I put it on before... I was done about 6:30 today, which is a lot earlier than usual. So I'm like, okay, well, I've only got half an hour to play Gotham Knights. So I won't get, an hour, sorry, play Gotham. I won't get bored in that. And I've started playing it. And I'm just like, I just want to play Catlateral Damage again. It's, I don't know how to. It's kind of like. Well, I do know how to explain it. I've just spent like probably 20 minutes bitching about it. But this is not a good game. And more importantly, this is not a fun game, and I don't know how I'm going to play through this because I actively don't want to play it. This is a Batman product. This is a Batman story with great voice acting. So far, the writing has been great, but the actual game is so fucking bad, I don't want to play it. Like, the actual, what little gameplay was in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't particularly interesting. But it was at least intense enough that, you know, I put most of these things on hard mode. I've played a lot of these games. So it's enough that it keeps you on your toes a little bit, even if it was repetitive. And it was so often broken up by hours and hours of you not doing the fighting because they realised that was their weakest thing. This game, what you're doing, almost everything you're doing is interminably boring. And it makes me sad. I want to like all of the Batman things, but I guess... God.
I was going to say, does your love for Batman mean that you'll punch through this game and complete it? Or is this game bad enough that it'll just make you turn off completely?
No, I'll beat this fucker. But I won't have fun doing it. I'm thinking of leaving it now until I'm on Christmas break when I've got 2 weeks. So I've got the new Kirby game, the one I did the demo for earlier in the year. I'm getting that for Christmas. Yeah. So I can't imagine that's going to take very long. So I think what I might do is an hour on that, and then when I get bored, I'm like, oh, delightful, I can go play some more Kirby. And then I'll trawl through some more of Gotham Knights. Yeah, but it's... I mean... It is not... here's another sign as well, right? It's got no interesting sound. So I've been playing hours and hours. When there's not a cutscene going on, I've just had a podcast on. That's not good, is it? I don't even want to listen to the game. It's boring to listen to. Huge disappointment.
Oh. Thumbs down. Oh, dear.
Thumbs down indeed. Catlateral Damage is delightful. But with that disappointment in the rearview mirror, Adam, what have you been watching, mate?
So, I went to the cinema.
Holy
It's quite
shit!
Yeah, it was a rarity. Get my words out. Get my teeth out. It was a rarity, and yeah, basically, my oldest wanted to go to cinema to see Lyle Crocodile.
That's not what I was expecting you to say.
Yeah, he wanted to go see it, and I was like, I will admit, I didn't even know what the thing was when he said it.
I've seen the trailers for it on other films, and it really didn't look that. Yeah, it really didn't look that appealing.
So basically, I went into this blind, basically, and my wife said, "Oh, he really wants to see it. His mates have seen it." And I was like, "Okay, well, yeah, we've got some time." I think it was 2 weekends ago. So yeah, we got some time. Sure, let's go see it. And of course, as soon as he said the title with the word crocodile in it, my youngest was all like, "Oh, crocodile! I want to see that crocodile." So I was like, "Okay, well, we're definitely going to go see this then." and I have to say, as far as a family fun, kid-friendly film goes, it was really, really good. I was really pleasantly surprised.
It's got Javier Bardem as the
yes,
the tenement owner, right?
That's it. Yeah,
like,
and he's
that in the trailer. We're like, okay, that's the bit that could save this because you know he's good.
yeah. He was absolutely delightful, and I have to say, the voice of Shawn Mendes as the crocodile. Wow, wow. It's just really good. Yeah, it's an unbelievable voice.
Now, I've got to admit, I don't know who that is exactly. I've got it in the back of my head. He's maybe a pop singer.
Yeah.
Or was he an actor? That's just in the back of my head. I don't know.
He's definitely a singer. I will admit, I've heard his songs, but I don't actually own any of his songs. It was more my wife who has some of his songs, and then when she said, "Oh, it's Shawn Mendes," I know the name, and I was trying to place the songs, and then she's played them on the phone. I was like, "Oh, that's it," and but yeah, absolutely fantastic voice. It's basically this crocodile who can't talk, and Javier Bardem's character, he basically, when the crocodile's really small, and he's basically playing the piano, trying to get him to make a sound along with the piano, and he's at the point of giving up. He's like, "Oh, this isn't possible," and all of a sudden he does it. The crocodile makes this sound, and then they go into this cutscene of him growing up and learning how to sing, basically, and dance. That's the other thing. And so he tries to take him on stage, and the whole thing is he's got stage fright. He can't do it in front of people. He can do it in front of him, but he can't do it in front of people. So
right,
it fails completely, and Javier's character Hector, he just, he loses all his money, and he ends up saying to him, "Right, you stay in the house," because I think he lost part of his house in a deal for the last show he did, and
Right.
and if it went well, obviously he kept his house. If it didn't, he lost his house. But he kept this little small note within the deed within this deal to say that for 10 days out of a year he can stay in the house. So he goes away and says, right, you stay here, I'm going to go make more money. And and then this family move in, and so the kid, Josh, I think his name is, he finds this attic space with this glass cabinet that holds or would hold stuffed animals, and he's got this crocodile posing like still as he can, and he's like, wow, they've got a crocodile like up here, the like previous owners, and and he's looking at it really closely, and then like the camera flicks to like the crocodile's eyes, and you can tell like there's a bit of bead of sweat coming down where he's trying to keep still, so like that is that kind of humor, and yeah, it's absolutely delightful, and it's a proper sort of happy go film. So there's a real down low point, and like it all gets very sad, and then at the end it all gets really happy. I won't spoil it obviously, but it all gets really happy, and it's a real good feel good film. And I say my kids absolutely loved it, even the little one. Now I've been to some films with my little one, he's 3 by the way, and he does not like pay attention. If the film isn't good, he'll switch off, and then he becomes a nightmare. Like it's just like a proper nightmare. He'll try and get off the seat and try and run around, and like obviously I can't let him do that, so I'm like holding him, and then he'll start making noise, and I have to take him out. Well, none of that happened. He sat in his seat, watched this film from start to finish, and did not move apart from sticking his hand in the popcorn. Like, yeah, if he's doing that, then 100% like it's a good film. So but yeah, absolutely delightful. If you're up for like a proper family fun filled sort of feel good film, then yeah, 100% go watch Lyle Crocodile. Absolutely fantastic.
Nice.
And then after that, I started. Now I know I'm a bit behind the times here, but I started Peaky Blinders.
I've never watched that, and I intend to, it's finished now, right?
I think so, yes. I believe
it's one of those
is.
I heard so much about. I was eventually like, okay, when this is finished, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I've started. I'm on. What am I on? Episode 4 or 5. Like I'm really just started, but it's absolutely great. It's absolutely great. So much violence. Oh my god, there's so much violence. But yeah, it's absolutely great, and they basically play. It's basically about the Shelbys in the 1900s London, and this gang called the Peaky Blinders, and they sew razor blades into their caps. And so when they go fighting, they take their caps off and they swing their caps about, and you can imagine. So yeah, and it's all about Tommy Shelby and running this gang, and I'm only really just into the beginnings of it. But Sam Neill, he's come in as he's come in as the an Irish police, I think, constable. I'm not sure of his rank, but he comes in to take charge of the situation of these lost crate of guns, and he's got to find them. And he comes in with a very strong hand and starts raiding homes and beating people up for no reason, And yeah, at the minute it's basically Tommy Shelby and Chester, I think his character's name is, facing off against each other. So yeah,
I honestly think like Sam Neill has been in some good stuff.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, but I don't think I'd know him if he wasn't in Event Horizon.
Okay, yeah.
Which
good film. Yeah.
I do understand is kind of trash, but fuck, do I love that movie? I've watched that so many times.
I like that movie.
It's my go-to Sam Neill because he was fine in Jurassic Park. But everyone remembers your man who played Ian Malcolm. God, I can remember his character's name, but not the actor's name. From The Fly, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh,
everyone remembers Jeff Goldblum from that. And then he was in something with Billy Zane and Nicole Kidman in the 80s, Dead Calm or something. And of course, the excellent In the Mouth of Madness, he's very, very good. But sod all these things he's better in. I like Event Horizon. He tears out his eyes and bangs on about not needing eyes to see. It's incredibly terrifying. It's awesome.
Well, you'll be pleased he plays a very dark sort of character in this.
Because it's Cillian Murphy's one of the main characters in that, right?
Yes. Yeah. He plays Tommy Shelby.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely fantastic. Paul Anderson plays his brother, Arthur Shelby. Again, he's absolutely fantastic. Those two together, the dynamic is really, really good. And then adding in, obviously, Sam Neill coming into the mix as well to face off against them is, he plays a very, very good part. It's really interesting. It's one of these that, so in all intents and purposes, Tommy Shelby or the Shelbys, they're the villains, right?
Yeah.
But they are the villains, and Sam Neill's character is the goodies. But as you're watching it, you're finding yourself thinking Sam Neill's is the villain, Tommy Shelby is the good guy that you want to win, and I love it when a film does that. A series does that. It's absolutely good. What I do know is Tom Hardy's in it.
Love Tom Hardy.
Yeah, I don't know when. I haven't come across him yet, or if I have and I haven't noticed, and he's just really well disguised. But I'm pretty sure I haven't come across him. But yeah, I know he plays someone called Alfie, so I'm sort of waiting for that to crop up. But there's tons and tons of actors in it that I've seen before that I can't remember their names. If I can try and hang on, let's do a quick. Alexander Siddig, I think he played the Doctor in one of the Star Treks.
Yeah.
He's in it. Stephen Graham, he's in it. Helen McCrory, she's in it. She no, I thought she played she's in it. Sophie Rundle, I don't know if you know her. She plays Ada Shelby. But yeah, there's absolutely tons of stars, and it's very dark, very good, and I can't wait to watch more of it. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, really highly recommend Peaky Blinders if you haven't seen it. I know I'm behind the times. It first aired in 2013, so but yeah, it's absolutely great.
Yeah, but I always I always like to wait for stuff like that to end before I watch it. I waited for Breaking Bad to end. Mr. Robot I watched when that was finished. Unless I'm there right at the start, I do tend to just finish your thing and then I'll watch it all in one nice long go.
Yeah, 100%. I do like to binge watch these things if I can. because you get to bits in like where you're totally immersed into it, and like the episode ends, and if you're doing one of these like watching it as it's released type thing, you get totally brought out of it, because then you got to wait a week. Whereas,
I've said it on this many times. I don't watch shows as they air. I wait until the season is finished, and then I watch it at my own pace.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because then you can get to a bit where you can think, oh, okay, I'm happy to switch off at this point. No, so I can come back to it at this point. So no, absolutely. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. I'm still watching Psych. I'm still doing that.
Oh yeah.
I'm on season 6 now, I think. That's absolutely delightful still. Really, really funny show. Yeah, absolutely love that. And, that's about all I've been watching. What about you, dude?
Well, I watched season 3 of Harley Quinn. Dear God, that show just gets do not watch that with your kids. That show just gets funnier and funnier and funnier. Oh yeah, man, it's so freaking good. It's got enough level of depth there if you want a character piece, but mostly it's just in your face fucking funny. They did like a weird, Joker's gone through this whole great big arc, and now all he wants to do is settle down in the suburbs, right, with this woman he loves and his adopted kids. And he's in like a sitcom episode where the head of the PTC is being a massive bitch, and he gets fed up with it, and he winds up like seemingly attacking City Hall, but in fact it's all a great big thing for him, and now he wants to be mayor, and he's like this super socialist, like this super left-wing government, because he's been a villain and he sees where all the flaws in society are. It's so goddamn funny. And like a lot of people were disappointed with the main thrust of the season, because it's kind of Harley has been on her path towards becoming more of a hero, and Ivy feels like she's more and more lost track of what she wants to do. And obviously what Ivy wants to do is replace almost all the humans on Earth with plants, because humans are destroying the Earth. So they kind of throughout the season they kind of slowly become each other's hero villain nemesis, while still being deeply and passionately in lust, if not love. They also found a wonderful way to make Batman the season villain. That was incredibly funny. So that is absolutely wonderful. The Chainsaw Man anime has started in Japan. I've watched the first couple of episodes of that. Have I mentioned that on this cast before? It's a Japanese comic company. Yeah, it's about a guy who can turn his face and arms into a chainsaw and he hacks shit up. So I had high hopes for the anime, because I love a bit of over-the-top, played for laughs, hyper-violence, and the show is delivering, so that's delightful. But there's only been a few episodes of that out so far. That's something I did watch the first couple just as they came out. Now I'll wait till for the series to end and then watch that all in one go later. But the big thing I watched TV show-wise is She-Hulk. And dear God, that show was fucking hilarious, unbelievably charming, and
my
quite
wife
frankly,
it was really good.
It's so much the way it breaks the fourth wall is so much smarter than it's getting credit for. Right down to the fact that, like, I don't know if you know this, but I think it's about 3 episodes in.
Doesn't she talk to the people watching?
Yeah,
like, she completely comes out of character and just
yeah. She's always done that. She's always done that since the John Byrne comics in the early '80s. So completely in character. But they did it in such a it's really subtle at first. She'll just do Marvel characters already mugged to the camera, right? In fact, most movie characters do, but they do it in like as a little wink to the audience. So she starts off doing that, and then she'll say a comment while looking at the camera as though it's to herself. And then by several episodes in, she's going, okay, I know, look, this is not the time to do a wedding episode. Everything's been ramping up, and it just seems awkward and inconvenient. But isn't that what's being invited to a wedding? It's like, and she's just full on talking to the audience about the episode you're about to see. And it comes in quite subtly and to the point where she finally does it full on to the camera. You're like, I know you've been doing this the whole time. Most of the audience will have seen that you've been slowly doing this the whole time, but that doesn't make it any less great that you've just stopped an episode just to talk to us this time. It's wonderful. But like, by the third episode, there's a very, very clever thing. There's a very, very clever part of the writing, which is they knew all of the backlash they were going to get before they wrote it, and they wrote the entire show from start to finish to deal with that backlash. And that is fucking amazing. Right up to the end, where they're literally, like, you've got this character who is the personification of all of the vitriol the show got from all the usual people, all these fucking incels and morons and fucking women haters and that, and everything that's said, and all these fucking comic purist nerds. And I can be one, but I'm never going to be one to the point that I flat out hate anything with a woman in it, because it's not the blah, 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 blah. But, like, it's so... And it's not in any way vitriolic towards these people. The entire thing is, you're pathetic, and I'm above you, and I'm laughing at you. And it's so, so great. Like, I had an inkling it was... I knew it was going this way relatively early on, because they kind of tipped their hand a little bit when they brought the Wrecking Crew in.
Yeah.
But by I think it's the third episode, they were using actual... So people attacking Jen / She-Hulk in universe, they were taking actual tweets and Instagram posts from people bad-mouthing the show in bad faith and just actually just using their stuff in the show, because they knew that was the attention it was going to get from all of these insecure, fragile little people. And like, and then by the end, like, the big bad is revealed to just be this guy, and he's like having a whole band of these other guys in this tiny little echo chamber. Oh, it's so goddamn funny. Really, really liked that. They even did the hey wait, that's not how I want my show to end thing, and then they come right at... Oh, it's just delightful. Just absolutely delightful. I was really concerned after the episode that had the cutscene with her and a guest star twerking. It's a little cutscene in the end credits, and people were, you know, all these fragile little people like, oh my god, you've ruined comics forever because this woman is having a small amount of fun and it somehow impacts on my life. Like, all these pathetic little people. The next several episodes didn't have an end cutscene, and I was really like, I really hope the backlash hasn't impacted their faith in the show.
Okay, yeah.
To the point that they feel bullied into not being able to do it anymore, because there's just so much vitriol. But no, the show just continued just abjectly ripping the piss out of these people right up until the end, and it was glorious. And as much as I hate to... I absolutely... like... I got emotionally invested in Jen's arc. I got very, very angry with a certain character, which I think I might have mentioned on the last one. Yeah, she was wonderful. She was super relatable. They made a really great choice with the lead actor in it, or actress in it. But fuck me, did Titania just completely steal that whole thing. She was so goddamn funny, just basically playing a petulant, entitled quote unquote influencer. Influencing, just in case it needs to be put out there, is a job. It's really hard work. Just because a lot of you people don't think it's work, it's really fucking hard. You have to look a certain way, present a certain way. You have to do all these things in a particular way to actually manage to make a career out of it. It is a talent no matter what you think. But basing a character on the worst traits of these kind of people was fucking amazing as well. Like, She-Hulk was basically just sitting there taking shots at everything. And I loved it. I had such an absolute blast with that show.
Excellent.
But that's all the TV I've watched.
Nice.
Or most of it, because I don't watch a tremendous amount of TV. Other than AEW, which is still delightful. But I have seen a couple of movies. And I've seen, for my list to talk about, I've been to the cinema to see Black Adam. These are very far apart on the scale. I've seen Black Adam, which is a big, over-the-top, dumb superhero movie, which I loved.
Okay, yeah.
And then I've seen the Banshees of Inisherin, which is a very small movie character piece about a teeny tiny little village on a teeny tiny island off the coast of Ireland, set in the early 1900s, about two friends who have been the best of friends for God knows how many years, and one decides suddenly he's not speaking to the other, and it is...
Oh, that one, yes.
Yeah, and it's about one of them being incapable of accepting this change, and the other one becoming increasingly militant in enforcing it. And it's both one of the bleakest and saddest thing I've seen in a while, and also one of the funniest. Like, it's not sitting there constantly laugh out loud funny, but you are constantly giggling and chuckling at what's going on. It's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's by the guy who did Seven Psychopaths and In Bruges. So
okay, yeah,
you know the absolute quality you're getting there. He's made 5 films. There was 3 billboards outside of, is it Branson, Missouri? That was also very, very good, and one that I haven't seen that was in the early 2000s. So, I've now seen 4 of his 5 movies that he wrote, directed, and everything like that, and the 4 that I've seen are all fucking outstanding. So. That's well worth watching. To tell you much of anything more would really be to spoil it. But then there was Black Adam, and despite all the marketing and what everything wanted to tell you, it was exactly what I expected it to be, which was he's not in any way, shape or form a villain. He's just a somewhat reluctant hero.
Yeah.
But it was still an absolute blast. Hawkman, I love a bit of Hawkman anyway. He was great. Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, he was great. I love The Rock in everything he's in. They did some really fun twists on the whole Shazam thing. The way it works, which is the wizard takes a child who takes on the power of the gods to empower themselves to become the champion. That was really fun. Not going to spoil the twists and turns in it, but it was also, it was structured quite differently for one of these films, and I feel the first Shazam was as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it's nice to, it's a film in the genre it's in, so you know a lot of what you're getting, but structuring it differently and taking it in different directions is really, really, it's like the best thing you can do at this point, because I feel that's a skill Marvel have shied away from recently, and I found their movies to be quite boring as a result. Doctor Strange was a delightful return to form because that was a fucking Sam Raimi movie. It was amazing. But yeah, Black Adam is really, really good, and we're about to get the big spoiler from it, so I apologise, but this has been everywhere anyway. In the end credits, fucking Henry Cavill's Superman rocks up. Oh my god. Oh my god, I was so fucking happy. And I'd had it spoiled for me by some arsehole online. Like a site I follow. Because most people, you know, most sites are at least good enough to wait till the day after a thing's released, or to be they would put X, block it out and put spoiler appears in thing. They just put a picture of Henry Cavill and put, he shows up in this end credit scene 2 days before the movie release. Like, oh, fuck you. Unfollow. But
I'm a bit uneducated in this area. So Black Adam is the same universe as Superman?
Yeah. It's all the same universe.
Right, okay.
Yeah, this is the DC side. So,
right.
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman, Shazam, Black Adam, all the same. All in the same universe.
Okay.
The latest Batman is not in that universe. The Batman from earlier this year, that's like a side thing. But I like to think the audience is smart enough that when they promote something that's not attached to the rest of the DC universe, you see that, you go, it's got no attachment to anything else. Presumably it's its own thing. Move on. Same with Joker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good, over-the-top comic book action movie that just happens to have, right at the end, fucking Superman show up. And dear God, do we need him. I love Superman so much. And I understand that Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Justice League are divisive. I don't care. I like them all. Yeah. But just the fact that Warner Brothers are like, okay, we're going to have a Superman again, gives us hope that, there's going to be more Superman movies and stuff. Because Warner Brothers historically don't go as all in on Superman as they should. And I feel that's kind of got worse and worse as we've gone on. And Superman, Superman is one of the most recognizable symbols in the world. So why that isn't more capitalized on is beyond me.
Yeah.
It's like there's always going to be... The thing with Superman is, even if you don't get... Even if you're not going to get the teenage to maybe mid to late 20s, because teenagers are going to want something edgier and darker than they perceive Superman to be. You've got everyone outside of that group, by and large, will love Superman because they'll either have grown up with kids love Superman, or they'll have grown up with a fond version of Superman, or Smallville, or something like that. There is that core demographic. Is going to take a bit of a hit, but you're going to make the money off everyone else. So just make make big, over the top, preferably quite optimistic, wonderful Superman movies where he's full of charm and charisma, and he should be making money and making money and making money. But we'll see what they do with it. But just having Cavill back as Superman is a huge plus in my mind. The other thing, the last couple of days, actually, I've been... Because Clerks 3 is now available on streaming. So I've rewatched the first Clerks, which is still an incredibly wonderful movie. And then I rewatched... Oh, it's unbelievable. But then I rewatched Clerks 2, and I've always felt that is unfairly judged. I recalled that being... And I don't watch it as much as the first one. Of course I don't, because the first one is, unbelievable. But I rewatched the second one yesterday, probably for the first time in many years. And do you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the deepest. It's not changing the genre. It's not doing anything outside of what it is. But what it does do is be really, really, really... consistently fucking funny. I was laughing from the minute that opened to the minute that ended, and I did not remember that being as goddamn funny as that is. Like, I remember some of the big jokes. I remember the big pun, the big all culminating a fucking donkey show and all that. I remember bits like that, but I did not remember how goddamn funny that movie is. Also, I've always liked Rosario Dawson. I think she brings an incredible charm to everything she's in. I'd forgotten how incredibly charming her little will they won't they with Dante is. And I think when I'm now going to be watching Clerks 3 next weekend again, and I think that is going to be far more devastating than the first time I watched Clerks 3. So there's that. But in the meantime, I've got a week, so once a day I'm watching an episode of the animated series, which is really, really funny. And there's only 6 of those, so I'll finish those by next weekend.
Nice.
But yeah, that's everything I have been watching. But Adam, have you been up to much of anything else?
No, not really. I've been work, and sorting the house out. So yeah, I'm in terms of doing stuff, I'm a bit boring this month. What about you?
Well, I will start with this. I went to Ipswich to see Dave Gorman live, and I've actually not seen Dave Gorman. I reckon I've not seen Dave Gorman live in close to 20 years. He did the Dave Gorman collection on BBC Two, I think it was, where he. Oh no, it was the Dave Gorman collection, or Are You Dave Gorman? Like, one was the stage show, one was the thing where he went and met everyone else called Dave Gorman that he could, right?
Yeah.
That was super funny. So I went out to see that when he was touring that, and then we went to a couple more of his shows after that. One was How to Build a Better World, which I think he's largely turned into a show on Dave for a while. I think he did.
Okay.
And then he did the astrology experiment and stuff like that. And then he. I didn't see him touring around here as often, so I didn't see him for a very long time. So he did a really long show split into 2 halves. And the first half was his usual, it was all about wordplay and stuff like that. It was about his time during COVID where he became a crossword compiler. And inadvertently gamed a nemesis. And it was that whole story, and that was very, very funny. But his humour is, I'm not going to say it's light, because it's very, very clever, but it's a lot more, he's constantly getting you to giggle rather than laugh your tits off,
Yeah.
And in the second half, and unfortunately I've forgotten the things it's centered around now, but he managed to teach me about a light entertainment show in which a guy goes around and learns about how factories work and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's a big show on the BBC. And then he managed to teach me all about that, and then tell this really incredibly long-winded story about staying in a B&B or hotel that claims to be about Hollywood celebrities, and slowly brought it round to the fact that he's he, as a joke from his family, got all of this stuff about this guy. So by the time he wound up in this celebrity hotel, he just took all this shit with him and put it around the room. It was very, very funny. It was a whole weird thing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really like his wordplay. I really like his way of presenting, because he is a comedian, and he's a very, very good one, but he's got that thing that I feel guys like Mark Thomas has. Their delivery doesn't feel like they're constantly telling jokes and doing funny bits, but it doesn't feel like they're trying to be a comedian.
Right, yeah.
If that makes sense. It feels like you're in a lecture, which Stuart Lee's a bit like this as well, but then he does his whole repeating bits and stuff. It feels like you're in a talk, and that talk is just constantly making you laugh. And I prefer that to people who, well, with the exception of guys like I've completely forgot his name. I was going to say Tim Vine, and who's that? Really? Milton Jones. Milton Jones. Milton Jones.
Okay. Yeah.
So I like that kind of wacky constant joke, but otherwise, I like a Marcus Briggs-Stoke. Someone who's sitting there telling a long, complicated tale that all ties up wonderfully at the end. With, it just feels like you're watching it feels like you're just watching a lecture that just happens to be bloody hilarious. So he was fantastic on that, but that's not the big thing. That's not the big thing that has really caught me this month. So listeners to the Dinocast may well know that my favourite band is called Paradise Lost. They are a goth metal band from the Yorkshires. They are an absolute joy, and I've been a fan of them for a long, long time. So, closing in on a month ago, it was about 4 weeks ago now, out of nowhere, they posted on their Facebook, on their Instagram, a link to another one called Host with a logo, which was an H, an O, an S, and a T all in one, right? Now, fans of Paradise Lost are very, very aware that in 1999 they released an album called Host, Paradise Lost did, and as opposed to their usual gothic doom metal, this was an electronic album. Still very gothy, and it is fucking incredible. So, a lot of us put two and two together and thought, well, this is one of a few things. This is them doing a new, goth metal or doom metal version of Host. It could just be a anniversary tour. It's not really coming up to the 25th anniversary or anything, or whatever it would be. But no, that they could be getting that in advance. It could be a side project. So several days after that, close to a week after that, obviously I immediately started following this Host page. That posts up the tiniest bit of a video with I think the first one is the tiniest bit of a video that had a teeny tiny bit of music, 2-3 seconds, and we're like, this is incredibly exciting. This is unbelievably exciting. A few days later they posted a slightly longer video with I think the first one had no sound, and the second one had a small 2 or 3 seconds of music, but it had about a 6-second loop that said pre-order and had a week thereafter. And then several days after that there was another one with a different piece of music that was longer, and it still said pre-order and stuff like that with this new date. And we're we're getting very, very excited, very, very excited. And then they posted a thing saying Nuclear Blast, that awesome metal label we're on, they're going to premiere a video of whatever this is bang on 3 o'clock on this Friday. You might want to watch that. I'm like, oh my god, I'm just dying with anticipation whatever the fuck this is. And then they released it. It's a full song. It is the 2 lead guys from Paradise Lost. They're doing an electronic goth side project. They released a video. It's fucking awesome. It's coming out in February. I have pre-ordered the CD album with a t-shirt. I am unbelievably excited, because technically, if this goes as well as I think it is, my favourite band may actually be my 2 favourite bands. I'm so excited, because I love their electronic album, and I'm really big into if you had to really push me, what do I listen to? It's mostly kind of, I listen to synthwave, electronic goth, and then I listen to metal and industrial kind of stuff like that. So you've got both ends completely covered by 2 guys. That's making me pretty fucking happy. So on the off chance that anyone listening to this is a fan of Paradise Lost and missed this, or was a Lapsed fan and liked the Host album, yeah, Host is the new band name. The song I think is called Tomorrow's Sky, something like that. I should know it. I've listened to it like 50 times already. Yeah, and the great thing is, right, because I like to go see bands live, so now they'll tour this Host band and they'll tour Paradise Lost, so theoretically I can double the amount I'm seeing these guys. It's gonna be fucking awesome. I have I've not been so excited for a new band in a long time because I'm so far out of all of these scenes. As you get with age and all your friends stop listening to all this music, so there's no one to no one to just say, look, I've got this awesome album, come listen to this or whatever. I still follow a load of podcasts and stuff, like Communion After Dark is my main one. I listen to that most evenings, which is lots of gothy stuff, but yeah, it's hard to find new stuff. So when your favourite band is basically like, oh, we're doing this other band, it's like, oh, thank God you've taken all the work out of this. I can just listen to that as well. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. I think that draws to a close this Jasonless podcast. Dinocast, I should say. So we need a word and or phrase to prove that our good listeners have listened to start to finish. Adam, what are we going to do?
I think it's probably got to be the name of your favourite band, isn't it?
Oh, lovely. Well, okay, that's perfect. Well, if you've listened this far, put in the comments Paradise Lost and or Host, whichever you like. But if you've not been listening to this far, if you're a liar, if you're a dirty, stinking liar, then you can put in there...
What about Jason ain't here?
Yeah. Jason ain't here. In fact, Jason ain't here. So I want that with no T's. I want apostrophes. I want it to be proper London in the style of that Peaky Blinders. So Jason ain't here. Peaky Blinders. Jason ain't here. You twat. Yes. So this is the end of another podcast. Dinocast. I don't know why I keep saying podcast. This is the Dinocast. So that was the end of another Dinocast. It's goodbye from me and goodbye from Adam.
Goodbye from me.
Smooth. Goodbye.